Welcome to Viewpoint. Our guest today is Michelle Gilbert, and she formed a group called Siblings to Siblings. And my co-host is Susan Solomon, co-executive director of Drug Crisis in Our Backyard.
Hi,
Sorry,
Lily.
Susan.
Nice to see you
How
again.
are you?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you
welcome.
for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about Sibling for Siblings.
So I started Siblings for Siblings about 2.5 years ago. I lost my brother 4.5 years ago to suicide, and it took me a while before I was ready to talk about it. And when I tried going to suicide bereavement groups, and I didn't find anything where I was connecting with people. But I had a couple of friends who had lost siblings, and when I spoke with them, it really helped me work through some of the things that I was feeling. And so I decided to try and put a group together. It's all peer facilitated. It's peer-to-peer, and we meet once a month and just talk about different issues, the holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, losing a younger sibling over an older sibling, losing your only sibling, really just anything that's on somebody's mind, we will go over and we'll talk about. And it's been really helpful for me, and I think for everyone who's participated and who's been involved, and I've developed some really strong connections and have made some new friends through it too.
And you see the people that are in this part of the group more than just once a month? Or?
Yeah, it's not, formally we meet once a month,
Right.
but we're all in touch. We talk every week, and we get together socially, and it's just a real strong support network. If you're having a tough day, you have this whole group of people at your fingertips to shoot a text or give a phone call, and they can understand what you're feeling and what you're going through and provide support.
So now you lost your brother. I'm very
Yes.
sorry to
Thank
hear
you.
that. And he was older, younger?
Younger. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and
Okay.
he was 2 years younger than me, so we were the closest in age. And he passed away about a week before his 22nd birthday.
Oh, he's
Okay.
young.
Yes. And he went
What
to
was his name?
Sam.
Sam, okay.
And Sam, it was actually August. It was in August, and it's turned into a very tough month because my birthday's in August, his birthday's in August, and so now his anniversary also. So that whole month has sort of turned into figuring out for my family how we want to celebrate his life and grieve over the loss and sort of move forward.
And celebrate your birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I guess that has to be difficult in any family when you lose someone. How do you celebrate the birthdays of those that are
Right.
still there and, mourn his loss?
Right.
So you have other siblings as well, younger.
Yes,
And
younger.
how are they doing?
They're good. My sister is she just turned 22 in October, and she's finishing her final year of college to be a physical therapy assistant. And my youngest 2 brothers are still in high school. They're at Yorktown High School.
Young.
Wow.
Yes.
How you-
Pretty young.
Yes.
How are your parents doing?
They're good. My dad sort of threw himself into the community. He's town supervisor in Yorktown, and he's, been a big inspiration for me over the years to get involved in my community and give back. And watching him make connections helped me make the connections I needed to start this group. And
I kind of remember when you started. It's, you said 2.5 years?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were doing it out of your house in the beginning.
The first meeting was at my house because I hadn't found a space yet, and it was really just, I called it a brainstorming meeting just to see what kind of interest there was, what people were hoping to get out of a meeting, out of a group like that. And then very quickly, Alliance for Safe Kids jumped in and offered their space, and we've been meeting there once a month ever since.
Could you tell us what day do you meet, what time?
We meet one Sunday a month from 10:30 to 12:30, and the Sunday changes. It's never the same. We sort of, at the end of one meeting, figure out what is going to work, what Sunday is going to work for everyone, because there's holidays and things like that that we want to keep in mind.
I'm sitting here thinking, and I don't even know if I should ask the question. I've never experienced suicide. How would you talk to people and how do you get through this?
One of the things that I remind the members of the group constantly is that I don't have the answers. I'm working through this the way that they are, just figuring things out one day at a time. I have good days and I have really bad days. It's not something that you move on from, it's something that you move forward with.
Got it.
And I've learned over time to really rely on the people in my life to not keep it all in and hold it in for myself and deal with it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult dealing with, was it sudden?
Yes.
It was a sudden loss.
Yes.
So no one knew that he was having a problem.
No, I had seen him 2 days before. We were supposed to actually have a family party for all of the summer birthdays at my mom's house the next day. So my whole family still came to the house, but for a very different reason.
Yeah.
So it was very unexpected. He had just gotten a promotion at work, was going to be going back to school. His job was going to pay for him to go back to school. So things were looking up for him and going well. And so none of us really knew what was coming. And he didn't leave any kind of a note, any message, and had deleted all of his social media. So there was really no way for us to look for answers either.
Right.
Yeah, or to know definitively, I guess. So that was a big question probably in your heads, to know that he was done on purpose.
Well, there was no question.
Okay.
The method that he used was he purchased a gun.
Okay.
And so that it was something that was very deliberate. Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Are you okay now?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because it's a hard subject. You
Yeah.
know,
It
and
is,
we
and-
thank you.
But because I've had 2.5 years experience of talking about the group and reaching out to people when they have a loss, so I've gotten, I don't want to say comfortable with talking about it, but I can talk about it without getting too upset in the moment. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you need to stop, it's okay.
Okay.
All right, just want you to know that we will. But I like what you said, not moving on. What did you say, moving forward?
It's moving forward
With
with
it.
the loss. Yes.
Because it's a loss that you can never, you'll never get over.
No.
Right.
So it's something that you carry with you, but you try to carry it in a more positive way. As
Right.
you know, I lost my son.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same thing. And what's interesting for me, Michelle, is that my sons, my other sons, my 3 younger sons, from my oldest was Justin, they wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
They still, we're starting to talk about it as a family, and this is 5 years later.
Yeah.
So are your other sibling, you having any experience like that in your family?
Yeah, they don't talk about it much. I've tried a couple of times to get them to come to a meeting just when we have a guest, because we occasionally have guests come in to talk about specific topics, and they have no interest at all and don't talk about it even within the family very often. We do a couple of things during holidays to make sure his memory is still there. But there's really not much, and I don't know if it's because they lost an older brother. They were all younger than him, and I lost my younger brother, and so there's that slight disconnect also. That's something that the group has actually helped me with, because some of the people in the group lost an older sibling. So hearing some of the things that they were feeling made me more aware of things that my siblings might go through at some point. The fact that they'll eventually past how old he ever got to be. And that's something, he was always younger than me, so he's always going to be younger than me.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
So-
But they'll be older then, because I was about to ask you, what are the things that they went through, the people that, helped you understand what your younger brothers and sisters might be going through?
Yeah, that was a big thing. When for my sister, we didn't really talk about it much, but I knew, like, on her 22nd birthday, when I called her, I just said, "How's the day going?" I didn't wish her happy birthday because she had officially become older
Passed.
than him.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I knew that was something that could be difficult for her, but I also knew that she wasn't big on talking about it. So I left it, I let her deal with it the way she needed to, but let her know I was thinking of her.
Right.
And I'm ready to do that for my brothers when they eventually get to that point also.
The other thing I noticed was with my children and my family, actually, my whole family, my sisters too. They don't want to say his name. It's like, that's all. Do you get that too?
It's different for my family. My mom both of my parents made it very clear from the beginning. They didn't sugarcoat what happened. The way that my mom told me what happened was she sat me down and she said, Sam committed suicide. She was very blunt about it. And because we've been like that from the moment that it happened, we haven't hidden any of it away. And we had the first holiday without him. We didn't bring him up at all. And at the end of the night, one of my cousins, who had been drinking a bit, got very upset and made a whole scene a little bit about how, you know, we need to keep talking about him. We can't forget about him. And from that point on, we've made a point of making sure he was present at all of our family functions. And we talk about wanting him to be there, and that makes a big difference, I think.
I agree. I mean, in some circles, they call it the empty chair. It's, you know, the one chair that's empty, and, you know, everybody in the family knows it is. But I think it's kind of strange, like, that people are afraid to say his name.
Yeah.
I think that's why I asked you his name, because the name is really precious.
Yes.
And you do want to hear it, because it's so, you know, it's something you're not going to hear from many people.
Yeah, and I do notice that with my family, they're more comfortable with and with his friends, they're very comfortable. I've noticed with my friends, every once in a while, something will come up that makes me think of his story, and I'll say, oh, when my brother was this age and this happened, and everyone kind of pauses to see if I'm going to get upset or if I'm okay. I'm almost always okay. Every once in a while, it will bring up something that will. It's even if it's a positive memory, it can be sad also.
Sure.
Yeah. So how many people come?
It varies. We've had as small of a group as 3, depending on the time of year and what's going on. Our last couple of meetings, we've had 8 people. So we've had larger groups. And I've had a larger interest over the last couple of months also, so I'm trying to bring more guests in to talk about different topics.
With the opiate overdose crisis, do you have people that lost brothers and sisters come in? Okay.
Yeah, we have a few that are in the group now that have lost a sibling to an overdose.
And so that is not suicide?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah. It's, we have illness, car accidents.
Oh, okay.
So it's any death of a sibling.
Yeah, it's our focus is on the relationship, the
Got
sibling relationship, and not on the type of loss,
Right.
on how the loss happened.
Right. So what's the age group?
The largest group of people that we have are in their 20s, just because that's who I reached out to initially. But we do have a few people who are older, in their 40s, 50s. I've gone back and forth about having teens. The couple of teens that I have reached out to have not been interested and not been comfortable. It's very hard for them to talk about things like that. And I'm still toying with figuring out ways to make them feel comfortable. Maybe if we do like a bowling event, something like that, where it's not a formal sit-down meeting. But we haven't really gotten to that point yet where we have teens come in. But they are welcome anytime.
Because this is a necessary group that I didn't hear of. You know, I didn't know about it before. For siblings who have lost siblings, bereavement groups that you went to weren't exactly what you needed, because they didn't focus on that relationship.
Right.
So I know that you're only 2.5 years, right? Doing this 2.5 years?
Doing the group, yes.
Right, and it takes a long time to build a following.
Yes.
So I notice you at all the community functions.
Yes.
You have tables there.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you have people that come over?
We do. It's a mixed reaction. A lot of people don't realize what we're about until they come over, and then they get a little bit uncomfortable when they realize.
Right.
So we've tried to, on our signs, put that it's a group for loss, and that helped at the last couple of events. But we still get kids who just see siblings for siblings. Oh, is this something I can go to with my siblings? And we usually, it's members of the group who help me man the tables, and so everyone's great. And I tell them, you never have to share anything you don't want to. If you want to defer to me and just tell my story, that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to share anything, and except in the confines of the meeting, that's completely fine. But we we do try and do outreach. I have an open letter that I've published a couple of times online, and that we've given to a couple of funeral homes that they have as to give out as a resource.
It's great. I mean,
You have a Facebook page?
We do. It's Siblings for Siblings Yorktown.
Okay.
With the number 4.
Oh, yes.
And
right.
we're on there. It's an open page. All of the meetings are posted there. Any events that we're going to be at, where we're going to have a table, are posted on there so that people know they can come find us if they want to talk to us at an event. And when I find something interesting online, an article or a YouTube video, something like that, I will sometimes post it, and other people can post on there also if they find something that's
good.
helpful.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's not just the administration.
No, I mean, if I see something that might be triggering, I'll put a warning. I'll edit it and put a warning, or I'll
Yeah.
take it down
Right.
temporarily. But I try to leave it as open for everyone who needs it to use it as possible.
Yeah.
now you said something about having speakers, and we talked a little earlier about memorial tattoo. What's
Yeah.
that?
So a lot of the times after you lose someone, you want to get, a lot of people get tattoos to remember them, and a lot of the times it's a very impulsive decision. And actually, when I lost my brother, I knew, like, the next day I was like, this is what I want, and this is where I want it, and that's it. And a good friend of mine, her name's Mel, she was actually my roommate at the time. She manages a tattoo shop, and she was like, it sounds nice, but you're not getting it. We're waiting, and you need to be sure. And we talked things out for a while, and when I was ready, she was like, okay, good, we'll make an appointment, and you're good to go. But she really helped me process what I wanted to get for him, and where I wanted it, and why I wanted what I wanted. And I think that's something that's important, so that people aren't getting something permanent that they maybe wish they had done something differently. So she's going to come and speak to the group next month. She also has some experience with loss herself. She lost her parents at a young age, and so she's very empathetic to loss and to wanting to, keep their memory alive.
Question. So what you have now, I assume you got a tattoo.
I did, yes.
So what you have now wasn't what you first wanted.
It's very close to what I first wanted. I stuck with the general idea. My brother loved wolves. He actually had a wolf tattoo himself. It was a wolf inside a Star of David.
Oh, okay.
But I already had a Star of David tattoo, so I was like, well, I want a wolf, and that's it. I want one, and I did get one, but I added a couple more things to it that gave me more a connection. We were both born under the same moon phase, so I have that moon phase with the wolf. His Hebrew name was Sinai, from Mount Sinai. So the wolf is standing on a cliff for the mountain. So there's some extra connections. He felt a very strong connection to Israel. He spent time there, had considered joining the army there. So I wanted to have his Jewish identity in there somehow. So I tied it into his Hebrew name.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I was going to get a tattoo too. After he passed away. I was going to get it here, Justin. But I thought twice about it. You know what I was most afraid of was how much it was going to hurt to get a tattoo here.
That's definitely a painful spot. Yeah.
That's painful.
But Dylan got one. He got a guitar, Justin's guitar, with the riff Justin used to play.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder how he's feeling about that. Although he did wait a while, he didn't get it right away. But I know, I know the feeling. I felt the same way. Next day, let's get a tattoo.
Yeah. So, and my sister got one also. She also got a wolf, but a very different style. She really went her own way with it and loves it. And who knows, when my brothers are old enough, they may choose to, they may not. But a couple of his friends have said that they want to get wolf tattoos. And I joked because he used to, he had in Hebrew next to the wolf, he had lone wolf in Hebrew. So we joked, we'll have a whole bunch of lone wolf tattoos.
It'll be a pack of wolves.
That's pack of wolves. That's right. That's right. And I'm thinking your sister got a wolf tattoo, so that's how she expresses and talks about him by the art on, I'm going to say on her arm. I don't know where it is.
She got it on her leg, but yes.
That's how she expresses it, but she won't talk about it. But
well,
that's,
I mean, she does.
makes sense.
Yeah, she doesn't completely avoid it, but she's not as open with it as I am and other members of my family are.
So you had mentioned that you had other speakers.
We have somebody coming in April to talk about essential oils and how different scents and different oils can be calming, and using a diffuser or using a piece of jewelry, different ways to use it and how it can be calming. We're still, I sort of pick up on things as the group talks, and if there's something that everyone's really interested in and wants to learn more about, I'll try and find a resource to come in, or I'll do research. If it's a discussion topic, I'll do some research to come in and talk. But I really, aside from bringing in that little bit of extra information, I try to let the group be as natural as possible, and let everybody give their input as much as they want.
You're a natural facilitator.
Thank you.
Now, I know of something you might be interested in presenting to your group, and that was presented to me for my group, and I haven't presented it yet.
Okay.
But in Cold Spring, there is a horse farm,
Okay.
and they do
that's
equestrian therapy there.
Oh, okay.
And so you might want to, I forgot the name of it, but I could get it to you.
Okay,
Jimmy
that would be
Downs?
great.
No, it's not him. It's someone else. But
okay.
Jimmy Downs is another one. But
Right.
I forgot the name of it. But it's a big, beautiful horse farm in Cold Spring, right on 301.
Okay.
And they have been doing equestrian therapy with kids and families, and so they reached out to me and asked if I thought my support group might want to do that on a Saturday.
Okay.
So that might be an interesting thing for you. I could get you the information on
Definitely.
that. I think the guy who runs it, his name is John McEnroe.
Okay.
I think. But
Okay.
I'll get you the name of it
No,
first.
that would
but
be
that's supposed to be fabulous, right, Lily? You know
Yeah.
anything about that?
I just know that it's an amazing therapy because you connect with the horse,
Right.
and the horse leads you, and then no one else talks. It's just you and the horse, and they say that the horse picks up from you. And I know when they do it for therapy for people suffering from addiction, the horse will somehow show you the things that are blocking you from getting recovery.
Yep.
Unbelievable how this works. So it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And Linda, also about the nutrition.
The nutritionist, too. We
Yes.
have a great nutritionist I could send your way.
Do that.
Absolutely.
She'll come talk about nutrition and how important it is not to eat certain kinds of foods because it raises your blood sugar and makes you uncomfortable. And so that could be a big help also.
No, absolutely. And I know from my personal experience, when there are times where I'm really feeling upset and things like that, and I go to my comfort foods, which are not the healthiest things, and they're things
Right.
that can raise your blood sugar, and I think a nutritionist would definitely be able to help with, here are some alternatives for.
And she talks
For
about
when you're-
grief and nutrition also.
Oh, yeah.
How they're
yes.
connected, how some people don't eat after they lose someone.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the guilt, the eating is filling your body, and about sustenance and sustaining life, and some people just aren't comfortable doing that.
Right.
Yeah, she has her own story too. I mean, there's a lot of suffering in this world that we don't know about.
That's
We really
right.
don't know about
That's
it.
right.
Right.
We look at other families and we think everything is perfect, hunky dory.
That's right.
And meanwhile,
You know.
everyone is carrying their own cross, really.
Yes.
And that's why you have to be kind to everyone.
That's right.
Because you don't know what battle they're fighting.
Yeah.
And that's not my quote, but it is someone else's. I don't remember who.
It's all right. It's all right. We're not taking credit for it.
So,
It's very hard.
And I kind of try to remember that, in just my everyday life, that even when somebody's cranky or whatever,
Yeah.
and instead of being cranky right back,
Right.
know that whatever they're carrying, it may be, really bad news.
That's
and
right.
Just to try to be compassionate about that.
Right.
And, I learned that through the death of my son, and I'm sure you've learned a lot.
Yes, yeah, and I even, when I do my outreach, when I hear that somebody's lost a sibling and I reach out, the first thing that I say is, I can't imagine what you're feeling and what you're
Right.
going through. I don't understand it. but I did lose a sibling also. And if you want to talk to someone who might be a little bit more empathetic, here's my number, here's my information. And I actually never bring up the sibling group in my first outreach. I just want to let them know that there's someone there.
Right.
I'll occasionally say, if you're interested down the road, there is a support group I can get you in touch with. I don't even say I run it or anything. I don't like putting that kind of pressure. You're dealing with so much in that moment. Just to let them know that there's someone there, and we can move on from there later on if they reach out.
Do you contact? I mean, how do you know? I mean, someone will tell you, or
it's if I hear about it. I'm pretty well connected in the town, so people have actually reached out to me and said, my friend just lost someone. Can I give them your information?
Got it. Okay.
And I'll say, can you give me their name? Because I'll send them a Facebook message just so that because it's hard to reach out yourself when you're going through something. So I like to try and make contact myself first if I have the opportunity.
It is hard to reach out to someone, very hard, because you know you think about it and they say, "Nah, I'm not." I mean, you're going through so much. It's like hard to motivate yourself to even pick up the phone and call someone and talk about it. So it's good that you do that. That's really great.
Thank you.
So you've got a really good thing going here. And
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you?
We have an email address. It's ytown sibling group 914@gmail.com. It's long. And then also I give out my cell phone number as a way to
you want to tell the camera right there? You want to tell them?
So my cell phone number is 914-606-2140. And if I don't answer the phone and you leave a message, I will always call back.
And your email again?
Is ytownsiblinggroup914@gmail.com.
So now someone could text you on that number. That's your cell phone?
Yep.
Because sometimes the text is a lot easier, you know? So that's a possibility too. This way, you know, if they don't want to pick up the phone at all they have to do is text you.
Right.
And sometimes texts go a long way.
Yes.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, I say this always to you, that you took your personal tragedy and you put a public face to it, and you do the same thing, and I don't know what that's like, but I have to tell you both thank you. And a lot of people probably out there want thank you all the time.
I don't know what your experience has been like, but I really appreciate you stepping forward and helping other siblings, because there's no other sibling groups
No,
around.
there's not.
No, there isn't.
No, there isn't.
And I tried to find one for myself, and it would have been a lot easier, I think, for me if I could have just found one.
Yeah.
And you know, Michelle, time's up.
Okay.
And you were great, and thank you.
Thank you
and
so much
come
for
back,
coming.
please, come back on.
I will,
okay?
absolutely.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Great having you.